Hey guys, Palkia here. I'm going to be talking about some stuff that I think is important that you should know. So let's talk a little bit about the breakthrough system. I still see people have misconceptions about this, saying that, it's useless and whatnot. Basically, there's going to be biome or weather-specific auras. For example, Comet can only be found during Starfall, 1 in 12,000. Except this isn't actually the case. Outside of Starfall, it can still be found, it's just a lot more rare. Now, the breakthrough multiplier for Starfall is 15, which means outside of Starfall, it's the likelihood of obtaining a Starfall-related aura is 15 times less likely. So, a comet outside of Starfall is 1 in 180k. So, why does this matter? Basically what this means is, even if you're outside of, a given biome or weather or whatever, you still have a chance of getting an aura specific to that at any given time. So there's no, negative thing about this. It's only an advantage to you. If nothing else, you can only benefit from this system. So honestly, it is a bit confusing the way they did it, but it's a beneficial system, and it does no harm to you. It's useful. Unfortunately, there is one biome that lies outside of the system, this glitch biome, which is extremely rare, and you cannot obtain the glitch aura through breakthrough. But apart from that, everything else can be. So you have a chance of obtaining every aura in the game at any given time, despite the biome, because of the breakthrough system. So as far as AFKing goes, you may have noticed that in public and private servers, people tend to AFK in specific locations, and yes, this is very intentional. So as far as I know, there are currently 7 spawn locations for items. The items that can spawn are gilded coins, regular coins, speed potions, and luck potions. And of course, during Starfall, there's the rare chance that Stella's Star will spawn, which is a quest-related item. Anyway, so if you're AFKing for extended periods of time, you're gonna have to use some form of macro or auto-clicker or something to prevent yourself from getting disconnected by Roblox, which will kick you for being inactive every 20 minutes if you don't interact. Now, generally, people would just use a left click for this interaction, but you could just use the F key instead. So basically, if your macro software, or whatever you're using, has the means to, bind it to, or set it to press F every few seconds instead of click, and just stand at one of these 7 locations. Next time you check, you'll have a lot more items. This helps a lot with crafting, and helps with getting more gold to expand your inventory as well. If you want to be a little bit more advanced, you could make a more advanced macro that goes to all 7 locations, and you could even have your character do the parkour if you want to, but this is pretty difficult to do without a script, and I would not recommend scripting in an AFK game. It's unnecessary. So ping plays a significant part in this game. Think about it like this. You have the time in between rolls, which is affected by potions and items. And then you have the time it takes to pick up an item, which is affected by your ping and your latency, right? So if you live in the US and you join an Asia server, you're gonna have a really, really high ping. And as you can see, despite having the same buffs, the time in between rolls can differ significantly depending on what server you're in. So ideally, I'm mentioning this specifically because I see a lot of people in the Discord posting these private servers, claiming that one server is luckier than another. Now, if you want to buy into that, that's fine. But the thing is, if you're joining a server that's on the other side of the country, you're going to be getting a lot less rolls in, which statistically means, there's a less likely chance that you're going to get something good. So ideally, you're going to always want to be AFKing in your own private server, because you're probably going to be the only one in it, right? And every time you join your private server, it's going to be creating a fresh server. It's going to connect you to someplace close to you, assuming you're not using a VPN, and that's going to give you the best roll speed. So as far as potions go, I just wanted to briefly cover the Heavenly Potion, since people debate on whether or not it's worth it to craft this potion. Super expensive, requires a Celestial to craft Heavenly Potion 1, and if you want to make Heavenly Potion 2, you need 2 of the first one, so 2 Celestials. Now, this is what I think. It's 100% worth it to craft Heavenly Potions, and you should only be crafting Heavenly Potion 2s. You should always be rolling to pick up Celestials when you can. Exotic is a lot less rare, so, you're gonna have more than enough exotics, but you should always be rolling to pick up Celestials to craft more Heavenly Potion 2s. Now, this is why I think, this is the only scenario where I think it's worth it to use it. I think basically you should craft it and just keep it in your inventory and sit on it, and you're never gonna use it unless you get the glitch biome. This is the only scenario where I think it's actually worth it to use the Heavenly Potion, because frankly, the boost it gives you for the one roll isn't really that impressive. So, for that one roll, it's giving you, an advantage, no doubt. It's a huge advantage, but for the amount of, work you put in to crafting that potion, that advantage isn't worth it anymore, unless you're using it in the glitch biome, right? Because how often are you going to get a glitch biome? You're going to want to be, rolling as much as you can with as much luck as you can during that, 160 seconds or whatever it is, during that glitch biome, and, that's the only scenario where I think it's worth to be using a Heavenly Potion. So, basically, I'm telling you that you should craft this potion in preparation for a scenario that you will likely never encounter, because how often are you going to run into glitch, which, by the way, well, we can actually check. I'm pretty sure this is the glitch achievement, and I have 660k rolls. I have not encountered it yet. And, if you think about it, what are the chances that if you do encounter it, what are the chances that you're not going to be AFK? So, yes, the potion's worth it, but the opportunity to use it is likely never going to come, so don't think too much about it. Alright, so as far as settings go, I'm just going to cover the settings that I personally use and explain why. Skip and swap warning, it's pretty self-explanatory. As a safety net, I personally just have them both set to 0. So I have my audio equip set to 1, which some of you may be confused by. And I never change this. This always stays at 1. And here's why. So what this means is, I'm picking up every single aura that is above a rarity of 1, which is every single aura in the game. So, by default, I'm picking up everything. Now, the reason why I'm not actually picking up everything is because of the aura filter right here. So, I have everything that I don't want to pick up manually disabled. Now, this might sound like a pain to do, but really there's not that many auras in the game. You're only gonna have to disable each one once. And if you play this game for a couple days, how often are you gonna be finding a new aura, right? So why is this beneficial? Well, frankly, I see a lot of people talking about how they, rolled something and didn't pick it up and whatnot, and I didn't want to think too much, so this is just the easiest way that I thought to do it. And basically, every time I roll something that's locked, which is every time I roll something new that I've never rolled before, something that isn't in this filter, it's gonna automatically get picked up, right? Because I have this setting on auto equip set to 1. So by default, everything's getting picked up, right? So I'm never gonna risk losing anything, because if it's something that I haven't got, it's not in the filter. And if it's not in the filter, it's gonna get picked up. Now I have these set to auto equip because basically everything above 1 mil, I just have set to auto equip because there's no reason in getting duplicates of auras, but I'm just doing everything above 1 mil because I'm interested in seeing how often I roll something that's, above 1 in a mil. And then apart from that, gilded and what else? Celestial. Actually, I don't need any more comments, but yeah, those are just crafting materials. So yeah, if you need something for crafting and whatnot, you can just switch to auto equip, which means then you'll start actively picking it up. And if you want to disable it, you can just set it auto skip. So yeah, maybe a lot of words to explain something that's pretty simple, but yeah, these are the settings that I personally use, and you know, they haven't failed me since, or rather, they haven't failed me ever. So yeah, I think that was everything I wanted to cover. I hope you learned something from this video, and yeah, take care.